creator Claudine Francois and the founder of In Good Clean Taste. I am dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs design a healthy lifestyle by incorporating healthy, delicious tools, tips, and resources that empower their inner and outer game. Every episode, my featured guest and I share our healthy, delicious lifestyle journey on my globally recognized show, Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here on Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. I am a content creator and functional medicine practitioner. And if your health is suffering and you've run all the tests only to be told everything's normal, I would like to be of service. Women are getting incredible insights out of the complimentary sessions I'm offering for a limited time to decode those lab results and show you what you can do to take action. Get the link in the scroll or in the comments below. Now let's get to today's show. Today's show is how to illuminate your health, expert guidance and lab insights with CEO Kerstin Oleta. I'm so excited to bring up today's guest. She is a wonderful person, a good friend of mine, and I'm going to bring her up from the green room. But first, let me tell you about this powerhouse. As the founder and CEO of the Body Language Strategy Academy, Kerstin Oleta has developed a training system for learning to communicate leadership and executive presence through enhanced body language and expression, messaging, and intentional management skills. Who doesn't need that? Kerstin works with international speakers, best-selling authors, real estate professionals, and business executives in Fortune 500 companies, y'all. She speaks and trains internationally on body language strategy for business and has performed keynote speeches and workshops for organizations, if I can talk correctly today, such as Google, eBay, and the National Women's Counselor of Realtors and Amazon. Talk about a superstar. Let's give Kerstin a warm welcome. Hello, Kerstin. Oh, here she comes. Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me today.
Oh my gosh, it is my absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited about today's conversation.
Me too. Me too. This is an important one. Very important.
Oh my gosh. And I'm going to start by asking you the first thing I ask all my guests, which is what does a healthy, delicious lifestyle mean to you?
To me, that looks like surrounding yourself with delicious, very nourishing. I love hearty and savory foods, surrounded by hearty, beautiful people. Right. Having that time breaking bread together, with really tasty, really good for the body food, and having the whole experience that's good for the mind and soul too.
I love that. That was and I saw that. I envisioned the picture that you were painting. That was wonderful. And I think this time of year, especially, that's just even
best
more.
Time of year.
Exactly. Well, both of us have birthdays this time of year. So absolutely the best time of year.
Always.
And the best food, and definitely that cozy atmosphere. So I love it. That is such a good reminder that it's not just about, it is about all of the things. It's about the food. Right. It's about the connection. It's about the enjoyment of it all and really savoring the food and the moments.
The beautiful memories. It creates all of that you carry with you everywhere you go.
Oh, I love that. It's so good. And I'm super excited to talk about what you have experienced during these lab reviews that we've done, because when you and I first talked, you had gone through a really frustrating experience, which I know we're going to talk about, with going to all the doctors and trying to figure out what is happening. I know something's not right. Like, you know your body, you knew something wasn't right, but you were getting the runaround.
Yes.
So I want to get to the beginning and talk about your first tip, which is listen to your gut when you know something is wrong. So tell us about that experience. How did you know something was wrong? What was it like? And then how did you get to the point where you realized, no, this is for real? And regardless of what anyone else is telling me, I know that I have to listen to my gut.
Right. It's, when you're in your body, here I'm been here a while, as we all are. And, things are starting to change a bit. Your body's not reacting exactly how it used to. And, we were always told, well, that just comes with age. but it just seemed like, things aren't working exactly, not just as they used to, but also really as they need to be and as they should. I was having lots of inflammation. I mean, occasionally you'll feel a little puffy, having too much salt or whatever, but it was really increasing. It was happening on and off. There never seemed to be any rhyme or reason. I was experiencing that. I was having low blood pressure issues that seemed to, again, coming out of nowhere, not correlating with anything else. And then I noticed my body temperature was going down and down and down. And to the point where it was starting to get regular to be at 97, 97.2. And that seemed exceptionally low because that's not where I normally was. And not that, normal is normal to each body, right? But that was not my normal. And with all this stuff, brain fog was coming in and out. And all this, it was just a lot of this constantly happening all over the place. No particular rhyme or reason, but now they're happening on a more regular basis. So I had all sorts of tests done. I went to the doctor, said all these things are happening. We did the heart test. Turns out my heart is fantastic. So that was great news to get. But
Your
again,
heart is
not
fantastic.
getting an answer. We did. So, we did circulation tests and nope, circulation's good. We did blood work. Everything came out fine. So I just got the stamp of you're good. And after going through all this where I should be a walking glow stick, through all the different things that I had and still no answers, it was so frustrating. And so when I heard you were doing these, the lab results and looking through them through a different lens of functional medicine, I was like, I would really be interested in that because I just know this is not how my body should or needs to be operating. Like something, and my energies were way off. It wasn't right. And so I was thrilled to be able to go through that experience with you and hear like, okay, there's a different way to look at this to get to where you are feeling like your body is working correctly. Because I did not feel like it was.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to give a little taste of that in a little bit so people can understand, like, what does that mean to look at the labs from a different lens? So I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm so glad that you realized, a lot of people will just accept what their doctors are telling them and kind of shove it down and say, well, they know, right? So I shouldn't really be too worried about it. But I'm really glad that you took the initiative and said, no, I do know my body. I know my body best.
Yes, I've been here a long time, kids.
I've been in this body longer than anybody.
Exactly. Coming from experience.
Right? And then your next tip dovetails really nicely into this, which is that you learned the hard way that functional medicine is less expensive in the long run. Tell us more about that. What did that realization look like to you?
Well, going through all those tests, not only is it take up so much time, right? You have to set all the doctor's appointments, and then you got to go get the test done, and then you have to have the follow-up again, and you're having a copay, or you have to pay for your deductible towards those things, right? So all this, it's not like this stuff is happening for free, right? It's yes, insurance covers a fair amount as long as insurance covers it. I went through some of those tests and found out the day of, oh, by the way, insurance denied it. So if you want to still have this test, I mean, I'm literally in the office ready to walk in to get the test. And they said, yeah, by the way, we just got notification this morning. They're choosing to deny this. So if you want to continue with this, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. And that was not cheap.
Right.
And so it's, you're, for lack of a better way of saying it, you're at the mercy of what they decide, whether it's the doctor's office or insurance or whoever's in that conversation of what they feel is necessary to pay. And as you're not getting answers, they tend to keep sending you to get different, well, we can try this, we can try this, we can try this. And especially when it's going down a rabbit hole of no answers, that gets crazy expensive. And no guarantee you're actually going to get an answer, which I didn't get, now with thousands of dollars out of my pocket. It's one thing to pay to get that result, that at that point it's worth it. But when you just feel like you're being put through the rat race for absolutely no reason.
Right. And it doesn't seem like there's a specific system. It's not like they know, okay,
Right.
I'm going to run this group of labs that's going to show me a well-rounded version of what's going on with your body to get what I call the picture, the puzzle, right? The full picture of the puzzle.
Right.
Because each of one of them is only looking at their piece of the puzzle. They're not looking at the
Exactly.
overall picture. So they're just like, this is my piece. I'm only looking at my piece. And if you want to talk
Yes.
about another piece, you're going to this other person where you
To a different
basically
doctor.
have to start from scratch.
Right.
To
Well,
not
and
only
you're responsible to be the one to piece it all together. Right. Unless you have some doctors, there are good doctors out there, but there's ones that are just, okay, well, that is that person's thing. That's that person's thing. That's not the full picture. And the whole body is the full picture, right? That's the approach we need to take. And I found, because I've done natural medicine before and now going through this experience, when you look at it through the whole body experience, and that's where you're going to get the full body result from beginning to end, it is not as expensive because you're actually getting the result, and it's a systematic approach instead of being thrown in every other direction who knows how many times.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention the value of your time. Like as entrepreneurs,
Yes.
we know how valuable our time is, right? And even if you're working at a corporate office, like the work doesn't go away, right?
No. No. Well, and it's funny because that's actually one of the teaching aspects that I have at the Business Leadership Excellence Institute, where the Body Language Strategy Academy is housed. We teach the success hierarchy is time is number one, right? Energy is number two, which is the energy you put into that time. And then the money, how that money value relates back to your energy and your time, right? So it's always about time is the number one hierarchy. If you're not efficient with your time, you're not efficient with your business and your life. So for me, as the person teaching that, and I'm the person being given the runaround, I can tell you that's a hard no in my book.
Right. And frustrating, which affects your energy.
Yes. And your mindset, it brings everything to a space of frustration, and you're not going to get any forward motion that way.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So let's talk about what we're looking at, because we are looking at pre-disease markers. When we're talking about functional
Yes.
medicine, the difference between traditional medicine and functional medicine is traditional medicine, I don't say need, but before they can do anything, they're waiting for you to get to a diseased state. They're waiting to
Right.
diagnose you. Whereas in functional medicine, we're looking at pre-disease markers that will help you course correct before it
Right.
becomes diagnosable, which is why, in your example, you were going to all these doctors and they're like, it's all good. Nothing's wrong. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're perfectly healthy. It just means you're not yet diagnosable.
You're not sick yet.
You're not sick enough
Yeah.
yet.
You're not sick enough.
So like I was telling you earlier, I'm like, I need to create like a poster with this, because I keep doing my little hand gestures. But
Yes.
like when you look at labs, you have a lab range. Right. The lab range is what they are looking at. Because if you get to the end of the lab range, they're like, okay, now you're diagnosable. Now I can do something.
Right.
And the lab range, for anyone who doesn't know, is actually just an average of all of the sick people who took that test.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one's going in the doctor and taking a bunch of tests if they feel great.
No.
Right. So it's just an average of all those people. So, the functional range is actually, what is your ideal range? Where do you want to be? So if you're anywhere between the end of the functional range and the diagnosable end of the lab range, you're feeling like crap, but you're being told by the doctors, everything's fine, you're normal, go on. And we basically, in functional medicine, we call that the window of opportunity, because that is the point in time where you can make changes to reverse your symptoms and start to feel better, so you don't have all these challenges, so you don't get to the state where you're diagnosable.
Right. And now you have a major aspect in your life that has to be dealt with instead of just shifting into a better life. And that's why I wanted to do this with you, because I just turned 50 this week. And I was like, okay, this is my half century tune-up, right? It's time to because I don't want to get to that diseasable state. I have another 50 at least to go, right? So I need my half century tune up, and let's get it revved up and moving.
Mhm. And we should mention before we go to the lab reviews, it's not like you were sitting around, eating bonbons and like, just like chilling on the couch and thinking, I don't know why I'm not healthy. Like you, like most of my clients, have done all the right things. Like you're eating
Right.
healthy, you're working out, like
Mhm.
what it takes to be a healthy, feeling good individual.
Right.
And that had stopped working.
Yes. Yeah. I was feeling a big difference in my workouts. I wasn't seeing the results. I was actually feeling worse after my workouts all of a sudden, which was a big shift. And I wasn't getting the energy from working out, and I was getting super tired after eating. I could barely get this is crazy. Just the things again weren't working, and the body wasn't responding in a way that I knew it needed to be, right? So that's when I knew, okay, something's gotta move.
So just so anyone who's listening or watching knows, I am showing this information with Kerstin's permission.
Yes.
What we're going to do is we're going to look at what the lab review looks like. We're going to just look at a snippet of it because, as I mentioned, the lab ranges are huge. That's why the doctors are saying, "Oh, you're fine." We're going to look at what a functional range looks like and what it can tell us. So
Yes.
I'm going to show this in this stream here. We're going to change our picture around here. So there we
There we go.
go. Okay, so this is just a portion of the lab results. And what we're looking at here is you can see, let's see if I move my cursor, can you see that I'm pointing at this stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're looking at here, this is the functional range, and this is the number that came from the labs. So in the functional range, our range, you'll notice, is much, if you have labs and you've seen some of these items like the creatinine, what we're going to talk about right now,
Mhm.
our functional range is where you're going to feel best. It's the ideal range. So it is 0.8 to 1.1 for the creatinine. And what you can see is this highlight here because Kerstin's number is 0.71, which is lower than we would
Mhm.
like. And so when it's low, what does that mean? It means muscle atrophy, decreased muscle mass. And these are not diagnostic, I should mention. These are just like, what are the trends? What is
Right.
it heading towards? And it also points to poor dietary protein intake or absorption, which we evaluate with GI symptoms. And
Mhm.
so when Kerstin was saying she was working out and her workouts were not yielding the same results,
Mm.
because the muscles were not getting the nutrients that they needed. And it wasn't because you were eating the bonbons all day, right?
No, I hardly eat any sugar. I eat a higher protein diet. And so the fact that my muscle wasn't, it wasn't that it wasn't even growing, it was decreasing. It was noticeable. I'm going, what on earth is going on? So I eat more protein. Well, no, it's still not working. Well, come to find out, it's because my body is not absorbing protein the way it needs to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what I was told before. It's like, no, your numbers are regular. It's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. Things
And
aren't
when
fine.
there's an absorption issue, that's when we start to look other places. Now, again, if you're in traditional medicine, you're just looking at your piece of the puzzle. Oh, your protein marker is fine. So, it's within my range. So I'm not going to look any further. But if you'd gone, then they might be sending you, if you have someone who's keyed in, right, who's clued in, they might say, okay, maybe you need to go to a GI doctor to see, is there something else that we need to look at? Because when I see this, I see GI issue. I see absorption. I look at, okay, we need to do a GI map, which is a stool sample, right? That looks at all your GI markers. Is it that your body isn't producing enough hydrochloric acid, or is there something preventing your body from digesting your food, right? Is your microbiome off? Like, do you have too many bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria? Do you have some kind of parasite or a gut bug? We call them gut bugs, a
Right.
pathogen. Do you have a lot of stress that is impeding your whole digestion? Like, there are other things that we're looking at to try to piece together this whole picture of what is your body, because nothing happens in a vacuum.
Right.
Your
It's a
body is not
whole
like,
system.
yeah. And the systems work together. They talk to each other. So
Yes.
when we went through, and like I said, this is just one example of that lab review, but it's
Yeah.
just one piece that when we looked at the whole thing, we're looking, okay, there's some GI issues, there's
Mhm.
some liver issues, which when you have a GI issue, your liver has to compensate because all the stuff that isn't getting absorbed through your GI tract and that your immune system is flagging, which correlated to a lot of your symptoms, it's ending up in the liver. And the liver's like, I already got a ton of stuff to do, guys. Like, I'm busy. Which can then impact your hormones because your hormones the old hormones don't get excreted. They end up going through your body, wreaking havoc as, or toxins. And I want to talk about toxins. Can we talk about toxins?
We can talk about toxins, yes.
Because what I find is that because we are in a very, I don't mean this in the way it's going to sound, but we're in a toxic world. Okay.
Well, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. So we have toxins that are being thrown at us all the time, from the water we drink, to the air we breathe, to the cosmetics we put on our skin, to the, like everything we put on our skin, right? To the NSAIDs, like the aspirin, like all the medicines that we take, our body has to deal with a lot.
Right.
And our body has to process these things. And one thing that I say is that if we're going to go through a healing process, the first thing we have to do is make sure the water and the water that you drink and the air that you breathe are clean. So I advise everyone to filter your air and water so your body can focus on healing. Because if you don't get an air filter or a water filter, your body becomes the filter.
Yes.
And your body's already tired. It's like when people come to me, they're not like, oh, hey, I'm grade A, I'm feeling great. Like they're coming to me because they got something they got to work on.
Right.
And their body needs that energy to be able to work on it versus filtering the air and the water. Because let me think about it. How much water do we drink a day? Or even shower in? Like there's a lot of water.
Right.
And we're kind of breathing all day.
That's the hope. Yes.
As a breathing expert, you would know. Some more than others. So, like I'll actually just show this. There's an air filter that is known to be one of the best. It is the Air Doctor. I have them all over my house because especially where I live in an agricultural area. I'm working on my words today. And there's a lot of pesticides around. There's a lot of stuff that kicks up from the soil in the air. And so I know that the area I live in I need filters. And then, when you think about wildfires and like all of that kind of stuff,
right?
Just general pollution depends on the city you live in. Like there's a lot of stuff. We could just clean the air. So when you're at home or you're at your office, wherever you spend most of your time, breathe in the good air, right?
Right.
The other thing is the water. And we've talked about this, right? Because you have a water filter. There's one that I particularly like. It's easy. And actually this is a Pro One water filter. I know some people like the Brita, but the Brita has been shown not to remove as many contaminants. So like my sister has one that looks just like this. Not a Brita, Berkey. She has one that looks just like this. And she was able to replace the filter with a Pro One filter. So she didn't have to get a whole new mechanism.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is nice because this is like over the counter. Like you don't have to go in. I mean, I personally have one that I have gone in and changed out the sink. Like it's a big tank and it, all the things.
Okay.
But if you don't want to go through all that hassle, like this is pretty easy to buy and to have, and you just fill it up and it filters. My parents have one now. I'm like, I feel like the clean water Nazi. I'm like, everyone needs clean water.
Everyone.
Because I mean, especially when those of us who live in, well, if you have well water for sure, but those of us who live in drier climates, they're just, and if you're drinking tap water, there's just a ton of contaminants. There's fluoride, there's chlorine. I mean, where I live, there's tons of uranium in the water, in the soil, in the air. So anyone who's living in dry climates like Texas, Arizona, California, Utah, I mean, there are lots of states where uranium just through the roof. And anytime you have those toxins in your system, it's going to prevent your body from focusing on healing because it's focusing on getting rid of the toxins.
Right. Exactly.
So I will step down from my soapbox about the water in the air. But it is super, super important. So like any last thoughts, Kerstin, on what it was like to go through the lab review process, how you're feeling on your healing journey, anything that you want to share?
I think it was really, for me personally, going from that experience of knowing something's, just not quite right, things aren't working the way they should, being told it's fine, and then going through this experience with you of, okay, just looking at the lab results, that was eye-opening of, okay, there is a reason and a place where we can find answers of what's happening, right? Why I'm experiencing all these things. And then to go through the testing, actually do the testing, get the very detailed results of these are the exact minerals that aren't in place where they need to be. Honestly, it's not just I'm excited about, okay, my body's going to be working efficiently, right? We're going to get my body to an optimum health state. So I do have that, full tune up for the next 50. But it really put my mind and my heart at ease of like, okay, I'm not crazy, right? Because it's so frustrating to know I'm not working at my full capacity and everybody's telling me I'm fine. And trying to go through the day and you feel like, oh God, okay, apparently this is just what I need to deal with. This is now my norm, when in your gut, it's not. To go from that space to, okay, there's a reason why these weird things are happening, and there's something I can do about it. That alone just relieved stress. And that's huge, because stress is, as we've talked about, is a huge contributor to your body being thrown off and not working correctly. So that it gave me a lot of hope. It gave me, again, relief, just took a big weight off my shoulders in a big way. And I'm very thankful for that.
Well, I am so grateful that you took that on to be able to do that for yourself, because it is going to ensure that you, like you said, the next 50 are going to be fabulous. Because the medical gaslighting is real, right? We're being told as women that we don't know what we think we know. We don't feel what we think we feel.
Right.
And there's really not a whole lot of emphasis placed on how can we feel better. It's just like, oh, well, unless I can give you a pill or cut it out, then I'm not really interested.
Right.
So I'm glad you bring that up. So if anyone else out there has labs that you've run, you're being told everything's normal and you're like, it's not, do set up a free lab review. I'm so blessed that I've been speaking to so many women about this. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do these for free. So if you're interested, be sure to get them in.
Yes, I highly, highly recommend it. It hands down a fantastic experience and very, very eye-opening.
Oh, thank you so much. And so, Kerstin, tell people where they can find you if they're interested in the Women's Leadership Coalition, if they're interested in the Body Language Academy. Tell us how to follow you.
So we would love to have you come to what we call the BLEI. It's the Business Leadership Excellence Institute. So you can go to bleinstitute.com. This is the institute that houses our training systems for how you're showing up in leadership and in business. We have the Body Language Strategy Academy, where we teach enhanced body language for executive presence, because we always said your presence is the permission you give others of how and why they're going to work with you. And then our other academy is the Business Leadership Success Academy, where we have a business certification that we teach and give to business owners. We help you set up your business design. So we're looking at how are you setting up the core values and all your team building aspects and team management for a momentum builder of success in your business. So it's not just getting from A to B. Hey, we got this goal. It's how to create continuous success in your business. And then, of course, my passion is helping women in their leadership. And as the founder of the Women's Leadership Coalition, this is where we give women who are action takers, women who are ready or currently pushing that needle, right, to that next level, a place to come together and talk about what that is like to be in that role of leadership. We have incredible speakers at our national meetings that we have once a month. Everything's online, so it's accessible right now. We're in multiple states and also in other countries. And then we do 1 week called the focus groups, where we do training for all of our female leaders in smaller groups, working on our abundance principles of courage, collaboration, and how to create the culture of success with your business. So I would love for everybody to feel free to reach out. Again, you can go to bleinstitute.com and then go to the different tabs, the academies, and then also the membership for the Women's Leadership Coalition.
I love it. And I'll be sure to link that in the show notes. And I will say that I was a speaker.
Mhm.
I think it was in August, right, for your group.
Yes,
And I loved it so much that I joined because those women are fantastic. It is a wonderful group of high level, very driven, very focused women, which is a
yes.
wonderful place to be if you are a business owner. So thank you for putting that goodness into the world, Kirsten.
It's my pleasure. We're so glad you're part of our empowered sisterhood there.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. I'm going to drop you in the green room. So grab a mocktail. I'll be right
Okay.
there.
All right.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Was that not amazing? Thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to remind you, how are you going to create a healthy, delicious lifestyle for yourself today? Until then, be sure to join me for another episode of Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine next Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central, and have a healthy, delicious lifestyle. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me, my products, and services at ingoodcleantaste.com. Be sure to join me for another episode every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on my globally recognized show, Healthy Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine.